Good morning, students. Today we will be discussing lesson 12, our government. So, first, you should know the meaning of the government. What is a government? Government is an institution which runs our country. Government has three organs or three arms. One arm that makes laws for the country is called legislature. The second organ of the government is executive, which runs the country according to these laws. And the third arm or organ of the government is judiciary, that makes sure that everything actually happens according to the law. So, the if we learn about state government also has these three laws at state level governments. So we will read about two levels of government in this chapter. First union government, then state government. So first, union government has three organs: union legislature, executive, judiciary. And state government also has the same three organs: the state legislature, state executive, and judiciary. So first we will begin with the union legislature. To legislate means to make laws. The union legislature or law making body for the whole country is parliament. So law making body at the union level is called parliament. Parliament has two houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Lok Sabha is the lower house of the parliament and Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament. And president is also included in legislature because the laws made by the parliament, when they are signed by president, then only any bill or draft becomes a law. So president whose signature is needed for all laws is also a part of the legislature. So first we will read about the first house of the parliament, the Lok Sabha. Members of the Lok Sabha are elected by the people of the country during the general elections. The elections which are held after every 5 years in the country are called general election. And who can vote in these elections? Any Indian who is 18 or older can vote in these elections. These elections are held after every 5 years. For the elections, the country is divided into many areas called constituencies, and people of that constituency are free that they can vote for any of the contestant from their constituency or area. Any Indian who is 25 or more than of 25 years of age can be a contestant. What do you mean by contestant? Means he can fight the election for the Lok Sabha. And for fighting the election of Rajya Sabha, he should be of 30 years or more age. Usually, however, those who contest belong to some party, and the candidates who are standing in the election, who are contesting the election, they belong to some party. We have many parties in our country like Congress, BJP, Inalo, AAP. So the contestant who gets the greatest number of votes from a constituency gets elected to the Lok Sabha from that constituency. Rajya Sabha. Now we will read about the second house of the parliament, which is Rajya Sabha. The members of the Rajya Sabha are not elected directly by the people. See, now there is one difference between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Members of Lok Sabha are elected directly, but members of Rajya Sabha are not elected directly by the people. They are elected by the legislative assemblies of the states and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. In addition, 12 members are appointed by the president, and to whom president can appoint, they are people who are well known in their fields of work such as art, literature, sports, and social work. The members of the Rajya Sabha are elected for 6 years. One third of them retire every 2 years, and new members are elected. Here also, one point is to be noted that Lok Sabha's member they have tenure of 5 years, and Rajya Sabha members They one third of tenure is 6 years, but one third of them retire every 2 years, and new members are elected. What the parliament does now, what are the functions of parliament? The most important function of parliament is to make, change and remove laws. It can make laws, change the laws and remove the laws. Apart from this, it decides the taxes that people have to pay and the amount of money that the government will spend in a year. It also discusses the problems of the people and the relations of our country with other countries. So these are the functions of parliaments: to make laws, to decide about the taxes that people have to pay, and discusses the problems of people and relations of our country with other countries. Next we have union executive. What is the function of executive? It sees that the country runs the country. This sees that country runs according to the laws. Executive arm of union government consists of the president, the vice president and the council of minister. President is the head of the union executive. Every decision of the government is taken in the name of the president. Every new law that is made must have his or her signature. But in actual, the real work of running the country is done by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Let us say that President is like a grandparent. His advice is respected by everyone, but he or she does not do the actual work. Or we can say President is only the nominal head and Prime Minister is the real head. Actually, he enjoys or uses all the powers to run the country. The president and the vice president are elected for a term of 5 years, and president is elected by the elected members of parliament and those of the legislative assemblies of the states and the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. And vice president is elected by the parliament. In the absence of the president, the vice president acts as the president. The council of the ministers. After the general elections, the party that wins majority forms the government, and leader of the majority party is appointed the prime minister by the president. Then prime minister selects the council of ministers from the members of parliament of his or her party. They can be from any of the house of the parliament. The judiciary. Now, what do we include in the judiciary? The judges and the courts of our country form our judiciary. We have Supreme Courts at the central level. In the states, we have high courts, and district level, we have district courts. The Supreme Court in New Delhi is the highest of the courts. It has a Chief Justice and many other judges. The Chief Justice is appointed by the President. He or she advises the President on the other judges to be appointed to the Supreme Court. Means first President appoints the Chief Justice, and then on the advice of the Chief Justice, the President appoints other judges of the Supreme Court. Below the Supreme Court are the High Courts of the state. Are the High Courts of the states. Most states have a High Court. The states that do not have any have one share the High Court of another states. Means the states which do not have High Courts, they share the High Courts with another states. As Punjab and Haryana shares same High Court. In Chandigarh it is the High Court of the highest is the highest court in a state, and below high courts are the district courts. The Guwahati High Court is shared by four states: Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, and Mizoram. What courts do? What are the functions of the courts? The main function of the court is to see that everything happens according to the law. This includes punishing those who break the law and protecting those who are innocent. Means it says that those who break the law, they should be punished, and those who are innocent, they should be protected. When someone is arrested or for committing a crime, the court decides whether the person is really guilty and what punishment he or she should get. The courts, they also settle disputes, and these disputes can be related with these matters: money, piece of land, and so on. When people are not happy with the decision of a lower court, they can go to the next higher court. Suppose people are not satisfied with the decision of district court, then they may go to high court. If they still they are not satisfied with the decision of high court, they can go to supreme court. But they would have to follow the decision of the supreme court. Decision of supreme court will be the final. Now we will read about state governments. So every state has its government because it is not possible or easy for the central government to run the whole country. So powers are divided. States are given the powers to run their states, and every state has its own government, that is called state government. And it has also three organs. As union government has three organs, state governments also has three organs: executive, legislature, and a judiciary. The legislature, as I told you earlier, to legislate means to make laws. So legislature in most states has one house called the Legislative Assembly. We have 28 states. Most of the states, they have one house in the state which is known as Legislative Assembly or Vidhan Sabha. Here one point to be noted: only 6 states in India have legislative councils like Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Telangana. So these are some 6 states which have second house of the legislature, which is called Legislative Council or Vidhan Parishad. The members of and this legislative assembly makes laws for the state. The members of legislative assembly of a state are elected by the people of the state during the state or assembly elections. These elections are also held every 5 years, and for this also state is divided into many areas or constituencies, and these constituencies are smaller than the parliamentary constituencies. Then executive. The state executive is headed by the governor. Who is the head in the central government of the executive? President. And state executive, who is the head? The governor. However, the chief minister and the council of ministers do the actual work of running the state. As in union government, the prime minister and the council of minister, they do the actual work of running the country. Same way, at the state government level, the chief minister and council of ministers, they do the actual work of running the states. Let me clear one point here. With the powers which are enjoyed by the president in the central government, the same powers are enjoyed by the governor in the state government. And at central government level, we have prime minister and council of minister. In the state level governments, we have chief minister and council of ministers. The governor is appointed by the president, and after the state elections, who is appointed the governor? Sorry, chief minister. The leader of the majority party in the legislative assembly is appointed the chief minister by the governor. As in the central government, president appoints the prime minister, who is the leader of the majority party. Same way, in state governments, after the elections, governor appoints the chief minister, and to whom he appoints the chief minister? The party which has won the majority. Leader of that party is appointed the chief minister by the governor, and then chief minister chooses the other members of the council of ministers. Running the union territories. 5 of the 7 union territories, in your books it is given 7 union territories, but now there are 8 union territories at present. So 5 union territories are run by the union government. The lieutenant government is the head of union territory and he runs the UTs or union territories in the name of the president. The union territories of Delhi and Puducherry also have lieutenant governors but are slightly different. Each has its own legislative assembly and council of ministers. So, in some matters, they are run like a state. I hope you understood this chapter. That's all about this chapter. Thanks for watching.